Blues Fan Forum podcast is presented by Interstate 70 Sports Media Group. I-70 strives to bring you the best sports coverage in the tri-state area. Find them on Facebook or at interstate70sports.media.
This is Jordan Bennington, and you're listening to the Blues Fan Forum podcast.
Skating on the ice, under St. Louis city lights, where the Blues play with all their might. Jordan Cairo, fast on the attack, but defense falters, gotta cut him some slack. In Robert's arms, we find our glory. His skills shine, the team's best story. St. Louis Blues, we wear the crest. In Jordan Bennington, we put our trust to the test. On the ice, we fight and we must, for the city we love. In the blue, no we'll trust.
Damn, that intro video gets me kind of excited for Blues hockey, and then sometimes I watch it and it's not as exciting, but sometimes it is. We got some happiness to talk about this episode. We have some not happiness. This is episode 146 of the Blues Fan Forum podcast, your source for Blues news, views, and fan interviews. Presented by Scooters Coffee. Blues fans can score amazing drinks like the signature Carmelicious, served hot, iced, or blended with world-class espresso, fruit smoothies, Scoot energy infusions, and so much more. That is amazing drinks, amazing people, amazingly fast. Scooters Coffee. I said that backwards, but you guys have no idea because I'm so good at it. All right, episode 146. Like I said, lots to talk about, good things, bad things, future things. We'll kind of see where this takes us. We do have Dakota with us. How are you, Dakota?
I'm good. Like you said before, I thought we were talking about greener pastures, but hey, it's the same old Blues hockey, so we'll get into it.
If this episode would have happened 2 days ago, it probably would have been a very happy episode. Shaking his head yes is our guest this week. Steve, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on. I guess I have to thank you, Steve, and also all of the people who kind of commented on my call to action post. We've been going kind of week to week on scheduling people. Last week we had Sam come on, and Sam was actually scheduled to come on today, and I couldn't find anyone for last week, so I had to move Sam up. So we've been going week to week. It's I will tell you, this podcast is significantly more stressful when I can't find people to come on. It makes it so much harder. So I kind of put out that call to action post, and I have Steve jumped up like immediately. It was like,
I happened to be on my phone when you did.
There you go. Well, it worked out. Because now I have people commenting, and then I have to shoot them a message, and I'm like, hey, I can sign you up for March. Like, I have the rest of January and February booked up. So some of them I'm like, hey, you want to come on in March? Because we could do that. So thank you, Steve, and also thank you everyone who commented and kind of got signed up. And I still have, I was telling Dakota, I think I have 5 messages right now I still have to reply to and see when in March they kind of want to get scheduled. So looking forward to having some awesome and really new guests. We have a lot of recurring people. We got some awesome fans. I mean, Sam last week has been a multi-timer. We also have Sam Robinson, who's come on quite a bit. We have our favorite Canadian Mike, who's come on a bit. So we've had a lot of people who have come on a lot, Dakota being one of them. Dakota annoyed me so much that I was like, quit texting me. Why don't you just come on all the time? So Dakota started off as just a guest that wanted to come on always. And I was like, just be the co-host, dude. so yes,
normally something like this is not the kind of thing I would do. I just kind of went for it. I was like, hey, why not? He's got an opening tonight.
Right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Steve. Before we kind of dive into the Blues and everything going on right now, Steve, let's kind of get into your St. Louis Blues history. So how long have you been a fan? Would you consider yourself a diehard fan or
A
kind
diehard.
of
Diehard. I'd
Okay.
say I'm originally from the Buffalo area. When I was 2 or 3, my dad worked at GE, General Electric, up there. and we moved down to St. Louis, and he started going Blues games. He took me to my first Blues game when I was in first grade against the Edmonton Oilers. Hey, we just played them. We scored 6 goals in that game, and they still scored the 5 goals they scored last night. So we won that game. So that was a good experience. He had really awesome seats. They were like ground level right behind the goal. It was awesome. My dad will say every now and then that he said Holy like winked at us and waved at me and my brother. I don't remember that, but I do remember being there. And it was just electric. It was so much fun. It was in the old Checkerdome.
Oh, nice. Yeah, absolutely. Hockey's the best sport to watch, no doubt about it.
Yeah, probably going at least 35 years as a fan since that day.
Right.
That's probably what made me become a hockey Blues fan.
That's awesome. Being from Buffalo, do you like the Buffalo Bills at all?
If I had to pick a football team, I would probably try following them, and I know they've had it kind of rough.
Yeah, a little heartbreak yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever they played. So, yep. That's why, yeah. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan, that didn't go well for you.
I don't really have a football team right now. I'm still a little sour grapes about the Rams leaving St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. The football game last night, Rams versus Chicago Bears. Yeah. I was like, I don't really care who wins. I just want the Rams to lose. That's all. That's all I was rooting for. So. All right. So you got some history with the St. Louis Blues more than Dakota and I. Just give me your general overview based on, your history. The Blues have always been a team that are competing. They're always been a team that has been at least in the conversation. We haven't, made the playoffs every single year, but it's been in the conversation for a long time. So Steve, what is this like for you, a long-term Blues fan, for a team that's in the bottom 5 of the league right now?
Well, it's been a tough year to watch. Because there are games like I see it every year where there are games when we're playing usually it's an East Coast team, in this case Eastern Conference team last night, and we run into this it's just like we don't know what we're doing out there. But then the 2 games before it were great, and they were all Eastern Conference teams the 2 games before, and then last night against the Oilers we just fall on our faces. It's been like we do great against like the really good teams that are not in our conference, but if it's a conference game, we have a habit of kind of just not knowing what the heck we're doing out there. Power play was abysmal last night.
I'm sure we're going to get into the preview of last night's game. We're going to talk about the couple before it, but something we'll have to mention is, I don't really think it was completely the Blues' fault. The power play was abysmal. If the boys in stripes, the old zebras with skates, could learn not to blow the whistle every 15 seconds, I feel like we could have had a little bit more of an understanding of the pace of game. But power play's been abysmal. The Blues have been abysmal. But like I said, I think we had this same thing back in 2019, and I thought we were all shitting on them towards the end of January, and then sure as shit, we're hoisting the Stanley Cup in June. So, and I tend to be more of a glass half full and half empty in these cases, but I think we're okay.
Or you're saying glass half full over glass half empty?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said like both.
No.
Like, I'm glass half full and glass half empty. I'm like, you can't have both.
Yeah, I think as a St. Louis fan, you kind of have to, right? Like I said this multiple times, like it's really hard to kind of root against them because they always put a decent product on the ice. Like they're not the Blackhawks or the Sharks or the Kings where they win their Stanley Cup and they just absolutely shit the bed. we honestly could have probably made a run for back-to-back had it not been for, the bubble and whatnot. And we'll save that story for a different day, but they've always put a consistent product out there. Even when we were retooling last year, it was all right, we're going to here it goes. And we're first round of the playoffs. I think we all were pretty happy to find out we made it to the playoffs and seconds away from advancing to round 2, but It's just the ebbs and flows of a Blues fan these days.
I mean, they've definitely it's kind of like where we've got a lead. Like if we get a 2-goal lead, I'll usually just be like, yeah, we're going to need more than that, boys.
That's still a little heartbreak from last year.
If there's a 2-goal lead going into the third with 1 minute left, that's also still
yes.
Hey, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath.
It's very. So and I was like, I'll always be like, that was a very St. Louis Blues thing to let happen. But it's unfortunate that thought is in my brain, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I remember in 19, it was probably January, late January, about this time of the year. I was like, come on, guys, what is going on here? This is when we had, we went, where do we go? We were at the bottom. And I remember a buddy of mine was like, we're going to be fine. And I'm like, are you sure?
It's not looking like it.
It sure turned out. It didn't look very good. How did it turn out, though? I mean, it was just, I'd say that entire season ended up being quite a miracle. So,
well, yeah, it's about finding those pieces and making sure they fit where they need to, right? It's that perfect puzzle moment. I think we've talked about this a couple times, is just kind of understanding whose role's what, right? Braden Shen, I feel like, tries to play everyone's role, right? Like he's our leadership guy on and off the ice. He's the guy that's going to stand up for everybody on his team. He kind of wears that captaincy like a badge of honor, as he should, but like you're going to need more guys to step up and kind of fill those roles as they see fit. And I do think that 2019 Stanley Cup team had those guys. They had the Bouwmeester, right? That guy who's been there and done that and was able to utilize his expertise, and it flew all the way down the lineup. We have a guy like Ryan O'Reilly, Alexander Steen, Jaden Schwartz. I mean, the list goes on and on about all the focal points of that year. I mean, shit. I believe Steiner played a third line role, or was it a fourth line role? Yeah. So I mean, it was an identity that, it didn't matter who's on the roster. What they needed to do was just gel well. It didn't matter if a guy was on the first who should have been playing on the fourth, or the fourth playing on the first. Like everything just kind of seemed to fit together. And I do feel like I said this before, we have those pieces here now. We have those identity pieces like a Nathan Walker or a Justin Falk, who I feel like is kind of like giving odes to Jay Bouwmeester, maybe a more like Cam Fowler. But we have those pieces, and it's just like it almost like makes you want to pull your hair out if you have any. About like why this isn't really working. Like the Blues really haven't changed the way they've played over the course of the last 20 years. It's always been a heavy forecheck game. We're not going to beat you on the boards. We're not going to meet you through the middle of the ice. We're always going to go down and play a heavy forechecking game. That's how we're going to get those dirty goals. So it's like, why is it all of a sudden now it's just not working?
We are going to get to kind of the recent games. We'll cover Carolina, we'll cover Tampa Bay, and we'll cover Edmonton. But this kind of conversation has brought a question to my mind. Steve, looking back at the recovery the Blues made in 2019 to being, worst in the league, to Stanley Cup champions, and also kind of comparing that with the post Four Nation runs last year, does that still give you hope for this season, despite being 32nd in goals scored and 32nd in goal differential? Are you still like, we have a chance?
I'm not really worried about it as much as like every season I would be so anxious, so stressed out before 19. And now watching after we win the cup, I'm just like, they've won one, be calm. It's going to be okay. I don't feel like we have the take the knife and jam it through their eye into their brain and kill them. That Doug Armstrong is quoted as saying in 19. I don't feel like that instinct is there.
Yeah, kind of limits the panic, because you're just like,
yep.
Like we've done it twice. Like we have, like 19 was obviously a great run that got you into the playoffs, and then move from there. And then last year, same thing, great run, got you into the playoffs and almost take down the President's Trophy winner. So it's like that recent memories that's like, you know what, Blues suck now, but at any moment they can flip a switch.
Mm-hmm. And how many points did we have out of? I think going into, I think it was one of those games over the weekend, or it was either Carolina or it might have been the game before. We had gotten points, 3 out of 5 points or something before that, and then we won 2 games. The big elephant in the room is winning 3 games in a row on the schedule. Sorry.
Yeah, which kind of leads us into the next couple games, because the last 3 games that we've had since our last episode were a win in Carolina, or a win against Carolina at home, a win at home against Tampa Bay, 2 in a row. Look at us. And then we shit the bed against Edmonton. So, Steve, let's go ahead and start with Carolina. January 13th, we play at home against Carolina, 3-0 win. Hofer gets his 4th shutout of the season, which is now tied 2nd in the league. Only the Islanders goalie Sorokin has more. He's got 5. So how are you feeling after beating a perennial playoff team like Carolina?
Did not expect that. It was a nice night to just curl up on the couch and watch some hockey. But I was like, okay, let's see that a couple more times. I had that in the back of my mind. It's like I would love to see that team come out every night. And I know it's a lot to ask. Like that team did not show up last night, understandably. So, but they something similar showed up the next game for sure. So
yeah. Next game against Tampa Bay at home on the 16th. Tampa Bay, who had just won 11 in a row, was going for number 12. We've had a 12-game win streak before. That was last year.
Yeah. We're going to need another one.
Yeah, maybe more this time. We'll take Tampa Bay to overtime before we end up winning in a shootout. Steve, when this game went into overtime, did you just give up? Because that's what I did. I was like,
no,
overtime, we're done.
No, I kept the TV on and I'm sitting there like this. I'm like, come on, let's do this. And I'm sitting there yelling at the TV, scaring my rabbits. And it was so funny. But it was weird because last night, if you watch them in overtime, they actually look like they're making passes and plays and positioning that had purpose. Whereas, like, if I watched a previous game where they went to overtime and we lost in overtime, we didn't look like we were lost. We looked like we were lost.
Mm-hmm.
And something clicked last night, and they actually made some purposeful skating and moves last night. And hey, we made it through overtime. We made it to the shootout, and then we saw what happened there.
Yeah, Jordan Hofer is able to stop the Tampa Bay from scoring. Jordan Kyrou ends up finishing his, and we come away with our first overtime or shootout victory. We are now 1-8 in overtime or shootout.
We won
one. Interesting potential backstory here. Carolina, Hofer's shutout. This game against Tampa Bay, Hofer's in net. Last night, then, we moved to Edmonton, and Jordan Binnington is in net. And for lack of a better term, we get our ass kicked 5-0. Did you watch the whole game, Steve? Oh, you are a diehard. You're more of a diehard than I
kept it up. I kept it on TV when we were 3-0 down at period. And then I kept it on all the way to the end, just because I wanted to watch just what is the team doing. I like to watch, like, how the players we're still fighting to the end, trying to get at least a point on the board before the game's over. Because I don't like getting shut out. I don't know about you, but they definitely play just less effective when in front of Binnington. I think is it confidence in Binnington, who seems to be having a rougher year this year. And I remember when we had like Jake Allen and Yarrow. I mean, goalies just have a bad year every now and then. I just feel like it's a rough year for Binnington, but the team knows to play a different way in front of each of them. And that might be affecting the way Hofer's playing, is he's getting a better team playing in front of him. It's the same guys, but that's just what it seems like. It seems like they just play differently when Bennington's in that. I don't know what the problem is there. It's hard to say. It might just be some kind of chemistry issue. I mean, there might be something going on. There's no way we're really going to know.
And that goes right into our plan already was to talk about the kind of the difference between Hofer and Bennington. But we also, a couple minutes ago, Kelsey brought this up on YouTube, says vibes seem hungrier when Hofer is in goal, which is kind of exactly what you just said.
Yes.
So
thank you.
yeah. We're not the only ones seeing it. I think everybody is seeing it. I know my brother Luke, who's been on the podcast a couple times, kind of ran our social media for a little bit over the playoffs. He is a big don't hate on Bennington guy, hate on the team playing differently. But I also feel like we ran into this in 2019. Like when Bennington kind of stepped up, it was we're not playing well. And then it was every time Bennington was in, he was playing well. The team was playing well. Anytime Jake Allen was in, Jake Allen wasn't sucking. He was just let up to dry, and the team wasn't playing as well for him. So it's kind of like almost a little bit of a reverse.
So if we put Hofer in last night instead of Bennington, what do you think the score ends up as?
That I don't know. Unfortunately, I referee soccer, so I didn't get to watch the game last night, which when I saw the score turned out to be a good thing. I kept getting notifications on my watch, and I'm like, I'm so glad I'm not watching this.
I think that Edmonton is a buzzsaw. I think that they would have still put up 4 at least on Hofer. They're good.
Mm-hmm.
The fact, I mean, we did really what I was kind of expecting last night, whereas the 2 games with our last 2 home games, the Carolina game and then the Tampa Bay game, we played better than I expected. The Tampa Bay game I thought was going to be a toss-up the way it was, but the Carolina game I was completely shocked. But it was Benner's turn last night. It was a good test for him to see. I would like to have at least seen how Benner would have done against Tampa Bay. But hey, we'll take the way that went too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if it was a fair test for Benner to see where he's at. To put him against Edmonton, because Edmonton's just so good this year.
And last year and the year before that.
Yes. But even without Broberg and Holloway, which having Holloway back was kind of nice last night. I was hoping he was going to get a couple of points, but we are where we are.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, I'm gonna give you guys some stats for Joel Hofer and Jordan Bennington. And then I'm going to let Dakota sound off on him because I know he's got something to say. And then, Steve, I'll let you kind of react to that. So, last 10 games for both Hofer and Bennington. So, roughly last 20 games for the St. Louis Blues. In Joel Hofer's last 10 games, he is 7-3 with a 2.2 goals against average and a 9.24 save percentage, which is towards the tops of the leagues. I probably should have checked in the last 10 games and seen where that was at. But when I see that anything above 920 save percentage, that's like a good goalie. Like that's what we're looking for. Jordan Bennington, last 10 games, 2 wins, 7 losses, 1 overtime loss. He's giving up 4.24 goals a game, and his save percentage is a .855. Okay, it goes into exactly what you said, Steve, and exactly what Kelsey brought up. Is this is the same team, the same defensemen, the same skaters, and these goalies are putting up significantly different numbers. Some people blame the goalies, some people blame the skaters. Dakota, take it away.
I want to touch on the point or what you guys were talking about beforehand when it came to like JB and Hofer about, 2 teams, there's different playing styles. 2 teams are playing in front of them. I agree, but
the
vibes seem hungry. Yes, vibes. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, Joel Hofer's his job is to stop the puck. Bennington's is the same. I think what's happening is I'll use the Edmonton game to fire off on him. So is he not just he's not been elected to Team Canada. So he was elected to Team Canada. He is one of 3 goaltenders that will dress for Team Canada. Great. Are you not going to be playing against the most elite level players in the country? Against USA, against Slovakia, whatever, you name it. I can't name all the countries. But to say the least, you're playing against some elite level competition. Is not using Edmonton as a somewhat of a measuring stick for what you're going to be facing in the Olympics. Like basically you're trying to play for your starting role or even a backup position. At this point, I wouldn't even fucking let you get the Gatorade for the boys on the bench. I mean, for Christ's sake, like what are we doing? Like you're an NHL goaltender. You're a guy who has lifted the Stanley Cup. And right now you can't even lift anybody's jock on the ice. Like what are we doing right now? Like he couldn't even catch a beach ball if it was sitting right in front of him. Like I don't understand the method to the madness when it comes to the coaching. I've always thought you got to play the hot hand. If I'm looking at these last, 10 game statistics, if I'm Jim Montgomery, Jordan Bennington wouldn't get a sniff of a start unless Joel Hofer, got the West Nile virus and just could not go. Like there's no way I would be putting Jordan Bennington in the on the ice, on the bench, like in the locker room. Like, no, like I would have been, no, I just don't understand. And going back to the 10 game stretch, Joel Hofer 7-3. That's a huge sample size of what you've seen. He's got 4 shutouts, and JB, I believe, has 2, 1. He has one this year. One this year. Because remember, Mike made that stat that it was his 1 anniversary of getting a shutout.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So he has 1. Joel Hofer has 4. Now I will say again, this is where I stick my foot in my mouth because I did go on, 30 games ago and tell everyone how much Joel Hofer sucks. And I know Sam Robinson's listened to this, and I apologize dearly to you. I'll take that back. Jordan Bennington has everything to prove to this team. And if he utilizes what he needs to for the Olympics, he's going to come back with a brand new look, hopefully a brand new attitude, and it's going to drive his trade value through the roof. That way, St. Louis no longer has to hold on to that ever-growing contract that is just a huge eyesore. Don't even get me started about his counterpart, Jordan Kyrou. That guy is another eyesore. But, Steve, take it away. I'm going to try to let my blood pressure just come down a little bit. Damn. Just watching him in net last night just pissed me off. He's skating around. Oh shit, I didn't play the puck. It's just you got to stop feeling sorry for him. At this point, it's goalies are nutcases. Like they're mental midgets. So like at this point, it's just got to be between the eyes. He's got to figure this out himself. Sorry for the midget comment. Didn't mean to offend anybody.
Sorry to the Freeburg midgets. We appreciate you guys.
Do we have any stats for those last 10 games of offense zone time for each difference between offense zone time for Hofer and then offensive zone time, or really on the defense zone side of it when the other team has the puck in the offense zone? Because if it's more with Hofer than it is with Bennington or vice versa, that could be a big factor too. Is the other team, or shots taken by the other team, it would be a one too. What kind of team is Kelsey was saying too, what kind of team shows up for each goalie?
I wrote that down. I don't have that now, but I can look up. There's the expected goals stat, so you can do expected goals for and expected goals against, and I can look it up game by game and see which goalie was in and kind of come up with a number. I'll put that out on the socials at some point, but I got that written down.
Yeah,
that's a really good thought.
Well, yeah, I mean that's my only real reaction to that. My other reaction was to what Dakota was saying was, yeah, he couldn't stop a beach ball whenever they scored, but there were some saves. There were Benner's there. He's just having a rough year. he's when he needs to make the save, he's not making it like he used to, and there's a lot of shots coming at his way too, and maybe there's less coming at Hofer or something. I don't know, but I like to try to stick up for him because he won us a cup. So,
and I wonder if that's kind of the thought process is when Bennington won us the cup and when he was good the years afterwards, he was saving us like that time. Like that game 7, Boston should have scored 3 goals in the first period.
Yes, they should have.
And he stopped them all. Like we are used to the Jordan Bennington that one doesn't give up soft goals, but also saves like 5 for sure goals that the other team has. And we're kind of getting the complete opposite of he's not making those huge saves that we're used to, but he's also kind of giving up some soft ones here and there. So it's like a complete 180, which is maybe, if you think about it, in 2019, he was the 4th string goalie on our depth chart.
Yep.
So, I mean, he went from 4th string to Stanley Cup champion in what, 6 months, 5 months?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
go for it.
I said it's Jordan freaking Bennington. He's never gonna have to buy a beer in St. Louis. Now that's the caveat to being the first and only goaltender to ever hoist the Stanley Cup for the St. Louis Blues. My thing is like something's got to give, right? It is, I think we all played sports, right? Like if you're getting bad at something or if you're in a rut, the first thing you're going to try and do is try to simplify the game. And I just am not seeing him try to do that. I'm actually trying to see him force things a little bit more. I've seen him come out of the crease way more than he probably should, just because I feel like he needs to touch the puck, get ahead of the play, or at least be involved in the play of some sort. But when it comes down to, in between the hash marks, he just doesn't seem like he has it. I don't feel like he's seeing the puck as well. The way he's tracking things, the way the body, maybe it's because the team are allowing the opponents to kind of collapse in front of the zone. But for all intents and purposes, the way Joel Hofer has played the last 10 games and the way Jordan Bennington has played the last 10 games, I would love it if, now just stick with me here, this is going to be a huge topic. If they switched, everything would go back to normal. Because now we're like, oh, it's Joel Hofer. Like we expect him to suck. He's supposed to be the 1B. But now that it's Joel Hofer being, 7-3, things are like, well, we just paid a shitload of money for Benner. We just kind of gave Hofer, I would say you said a bridge deal.
mm-hmm.
Maybe we work on not making that a bridge deal and making that a long-term solution, because I did say that, you're going to have to look forward to the future. Maybe our time with Benner is done. Again, I love the guy through and through. Thank you for playing and coming up and getting us a Stanley Cup. We wouldn't have done it without you. But at some point, you got to think about the future. And as Alexander Steen coming and taking the helm, you got to start thinking about that. Is Joel Hofer going to be the guy for the future? Is he going to be your next JB who, takes your team and rides off into the sunset?
I wanted to kind of tack on to that, that I used to, shortly after the Blues won the cup in 19, I got a pint glass that had like each of the game 7 games scores on it. And I added them up one day when I was drinking a beer from this pint glass. And I counted the goals and I'm like, that's weird because we won a 7-game series, but in that series, Boston outscored us.
Did we get blown out one game?
We got blown out a game. But to me, that it just goes to show that when that goalie's on, we win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the bottom punchline that I wanted to get from that is that when the goalie's on, we're getting shutouts, we're getting wins, and so Benner's there's something he's got to figure out. It seems like, but at the same time, like we're saying, it could just be that our team shows up in front of Hofer. Think where we would be if Hofer hadn't figured his shit out and was still forgetting to get dressed as the backup goalie.
Think about Hofer at the beginning of the season. Like he was we're talking about Jordan Bennington right now, but he was worse. Like
Yeah.
he
Yes.
had like a 700 save percentage. I was like, dude, this guy
Hey.
needs to go to the ECHL, not even the AHL.
He turned it around. He turned it around. So
did.
why can't JB do the same thing? Why don't you drink the same milk that Joel Hofer's drinking, my guy? Like
Right.
at this time, emulate what your like your game off of what Hofer did to kind of bring himself back into relevance. It's like we were all ready to ship him back to the OHL, the AHL, the ECHL, Canada. We were ready to send
Go
him
play in the
somewhere.
KHL. I don't know.
Yeah. So now, as JB is kind of going through the same things, obviously we're Blues fans. The first thing we're going to do is say you need to leave. We said the same thing about Patrick Berglund, Ryan Reeves, Christian Backman.
Nobody ever
Peter-
said Ryan Reeves needs to leave.
he was
Patrick
too
Berglund, yeah.
slow. Yes, Patrick Berglund for sure. Vladimir Saboka. So my thing is like he's got to find himself a new groove. And believe me, I would love for him to hit stride way before the Olympic break. Like it would mean a lot to us, but way more for Canada. Because remember, I did say on the podcast, we're all rooting for Canada. But it would mean a lot for the Blues because not only he plays well, we get back to a playoff position, but also increases his trade value. Maybe an off-season deal. You can't just get rid of a player who's just tanking. Like that just kind of defeats the whole purpose. We might get a third-round pick for him.
Yeah, you don't want to sell people low. That's poor asset management.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody commented on one of the trade things that I put up on Facebook, and they were like, just throw Parayko in for free. And I was like, you know what? I know emotionally that makes sense, but as asset management, that's probably not a great idea.
Look, Parayko's is as useful as a fucking box of unsharpened number 2 pencils.
I don't know. As a school teacher, even if they're unsharpened, that's actually like I could use that.
They have erasers on the backs of them usually.
Yeah, it's amazing how many pencils I go through a year because my kids show up to school and then they're like, "I need a pencil." It's like, no.
I used to teach myself, so I totally understand.
Steve gets it.
Oh man,
Right.
I have since gotten out that, so my heart's out to you for staying into it.
I'm only on year 8. I still have a chance.
Oh man.
All right, I'm gonna tell the people about places that they can spend money, and then we'll kind of we have a couple comments I wanted to pull up. So told you about scooters earlier. We loved I love their iced. Give me an iced mocha, large, every day of the week, and I'll be in heaven. Although the Caramelicious, when you mix ice cream and coffee, it's just amazing. If you guys can check out these scooters on Highway 143 and Troxler Way in Highland, or Vandalia Street and Indian Avenue in Collinsville. If you cannot check those out, then you can go to any of the other 30 locations in the greater St. Louis area. That is amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast Scooters coffee. Also, check out Hughes Custom Design. They are a family-owned and run small business that is operated out of Maryville, Illinois. They specialize in laser-cut, hand-painted signs. They have options that are typically ready upon request and can complete almost any request for custom jobs. And Steve, I'm going to need you to move your camera because that's where your sign is from. Hughes Custom Design. Why don't you show the people? Steve won one of our giveaways at the beginning of the season for his St. Louis Blue Note there. It's got blue LEDs in the back. Steve, how excited were you when I sent you that message?
I was like, are you like some kind of weird scammer?
See, and that's why I give away tickets and I give away
asking for my info, and I'm like,
right.
Should I tell him my address or should I give him like a P.O. box?
Right.
I don't have a P.O. box. This is weird.
There is. Anytime I give away tickets or I give away a sign or whatever it is I give, I always ask the person, I'm like, send me a picture of you at the game or send me a picture of that. And I'm just like, because I want to post it. Like, how often do you see people give things away? They're like, join this giveaway. And then you never see anything about the actual giveaway. And you're like, yes. Did they even do it? Or was this all a scam? And so, yeah, I try to be sure that I'm like, especially when people go to the games. Like I give away free tickets. I do almost every preseason. I have at least 2 tickets that I'm giving away. Sometimes people reach out to me and just say, "Hey, I got tickets to the game. Do you want to go?" And then I can't go. So then I say, "I can give them away if you want." And they're like, "Yeah, sure." So I try to like show that when I'm giving these things away, it's real. Like I'm not just making this up just for followers. We're doing it for followers. That's the whole point, but that's what we need. So yes, Steve, former winner of the Hughes custom design sign. I think during this preseason, we gave it away right at the beginning of the season. Oh, this was the one where I asked people to guess the final score correctly and we kept losing. And
Oh yeah.
so eventually I was like,
because my guess was terrible. It was like, wait, no.
Yeah. I was like, all right, we're just gonna give it away. Because we went like 3 games trying to give it away, and every single one the Blues lost. And luckily our fans were guessing the Blues to win. But if they really wanted the sign, they would have guessed us to lose.
One cool thing about that sign, I have to admit, it is awesome that thing is fully like backlit. Like there's little blue lights all over the outline of it. You turn it on and then turn on. I don't want to turn off the lights in here because I'd have to get up and take my headset off in that. But it looks really good when the lights are off in here. So it's really cool. It's great work too. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and the guys at Hughes Custom Design typically have those ready to go. So if you want to order one of those, just a St. Louis Blue Note, they can get you out. They also can kind of complete anything that you have. So if I wanted to make a Blues Fan Forum logo in wood, they could do that. I've seen a lot of people make like youth sports. If you have a youth sports team you can make one, get one for your kid. And realistically, they're not expensive. Like, I don't know, with the custom aspect and the lights behind it, you're thinking like $50, $60. That Blue Note, I think, is $30. Don't quote me on that. Don't go to Hughes Custom Design and say I'm only paying you 30, but it's like somewhere around there. Like it's not super expensive for one of those cool signs. If for some reason hand painted, laser engraved wood signs is not your thing, which is pretty cool, you could also check out our other sponsor, which is Imprint Labs. They specialize in bringing your band to life with either custom laser engraved Richardson hats that I'm wearing, and I think Dakota's got his on backwards, or vibrant custom sublimated metal prints like this guy. Custom metal signs. So they can do, I don't know, you send them a picture, we got them, family pictures, whatever it is. So yeah, whether you want to make a statement with high quality headwear or showcase your designs on eye-catching metal art, they deliver precision, durability, and style every time. Elevate your brand with Imprint Lab, where your vision meets our craftsmanship. We also have this super cool mouse pad. It's got a Blue Note on it. It's got my logo on it in the middle, but all my stuff is on it, and I don't want to split it. So mouse pads, metal vibrant signs, hats. They do koozie cups, whatever it is. So if you want wood, go to Hughes Custom Design. Wood with the LED backs. If you want anything else, go to Imprint Labs. Imprint Labs will not do wood. They don't have wood. So they can laser engrave on wood for your hats, but nowhere near as cool as Hughes Custom Design. So we got it covered everywhere. Get your coffee and then buy some cool shit to hang on your walls. All right. Some comments. First off, I had to pull up. Kelsey says she's just a baby Blues fan, and that triggered in my head because somebody, when I thanked everybody, I thanked Steve and all the people for commenting. Kelsey is actually someone who commented on the post and said she was a baby Blues fan, but she wanted to come on. So Kelsey is one of the 5 or 6 people I still have to respond to and get her signed up for an episode at some point. So 1, Kelsey, appreciate you reaching out, but also 2, appreciate you listening. She also kind of threw in agreeing with you, Dakota, on your take on Binnington and Hofer, and saying that Binnington might play with more heart for Canada. Hopefully he lands somewhere else, is Kelsey's thoughts.
I want him to retire as a Blue, but that's just me.
Right. I'm going to come back to that. I got a question for you related to that. Our favorite Canadian, Mike, says, damn right, we are rooting for Canada. He spelled damn like a dam that blocks water.
Well, the other one might have gotten censored. Who knows?
Yeah, right. And then we also have Sam Sam showed up late, just got home. I guess Springfield had a game. Sam, that's probably best because, man, Dakota was saying some shit about Joel Hofer that I don't know if you wanted to watch. Just kidding. We like Joel Hofer now.
Hey, but that brings up a good point because she just got home from the game, and there's someone from St. Louis headed that way.
That's true. That's a great segue, and that's why you're here, Dakota, because that didn't cross my mind. Let's get into this, Steve. The news of the day broke this morning that Doug Armstrong has relieved, what was his name? Steve Konolchuk.
Konolchuk or something.
Yeah. Relieved him of his duties in Springfield, and we have assigned Steve Ott to go down there and become the head coach. Steve has spent 9 seasons as some form of an assistant coach on the bench. This year, most recently, he has been working with the power play. I know he's kind of been power play, I think, the last couple years, some penalty kill before that. Kind of been working on all of them. So, Steve, 2 questions for you. One, Springfield's doing worse than us somehow, some way. Do you think Steve Ott going down there helps not only Springfield do better, but also kind of our prospects and learning and growing?
It does. And really, I mean, it's kind of a perfect storm to make that move because the power play here obviously needs some kind of different something because our power play needs just a change. And who better to start a change in the power play than have a new power play guy running it or kind of orchestrating it. Getting someone that from our team down to coach or really up to coach in Springfield, that's not a bad thing either. And to me, it's a way to keep Otter in the program instead of just relieve him of all duties altogether. But I mean, I like Otter. He's great. I don't remember if he ever was on the power play when he played with us.
I don't think I know he was not first overall, but first round pick in his past, but we got him towards the end of his career where he kind of just turned into a goon and was a fourth line person that on face-offs licked the other guy's face mask. So.
Yep. Yeah, I just remember shots of him as the players would go by the bench, and he's you just see him in here leaning, talking trash to the other team.
Yep.
That's one part that I think we'll miss, that part of the grit and attitude but at the same time, that's him as a player. That's not necessarily him as a coach. So how is he as a coach? Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's going to be good for Otter. I mean, I think we talked about this a couple times. If it wasn't for Jim Montgomery, who was going to step in? And we all kind of thought, hey, why not go the Steve Ott route? I think Otter has been just great for the game all around. When he was a player, he had a great attitude. He was a great locker guy, but also on the bench as that leadership role. But as kind of fast forward into his assistant coaching career, he's had that kind of same attitude. He's always been a player first guy. He's always been about development and kind of working with the younger guys. Which only plays well into becoming a head coach. And unfortunately, didn't get the nod when he was with the big club, but I think it kind of comes with the territory. You really haven't really been a coach for that long. And what better way than kind of work your way up the ranks now, again, not only as a player, but as a coach. So, having this opportunity up in Springfield, I think brings a lot of pressure, but also a lot of opportunities too, because at some point, I believe Steve Ott would be a great NHL head coach. Is it with the St. Louis Blues? Time will tell, but this is probably going to be really good for his resume coming up, through the ranks, and no better than to do it in the farm club, right?
Conspiracy theory time. Steve Ott's been with the Blues organization for 9 years. Not early, at the beginning of his tenure with us, it was pretty good. Working with Ken Hitchcock, then working through with Chief, had the couple years with Bannister, and now, or I guess year and a half with Bannister, and now about year and a half with the guy who coaches us now, Montgomery.
Monty.
Well, how did that leave my head?
I'm just glad they didn't fire Monty.
Right. So here's my conspiracy theory. Are they sending Steve Ott down because they want to give him that head coaching experience, but they also want him to start coaching? You're looking at like Theo Lindstein's down there, Jakob Stansel, Kaskamaki, all these guys that should be making either major or minor impacts on the St. Louis Blues in a couple years. Is he going down to become the next head coach of the St. Louis Blues if this Jim Montgomery thing does not pan out? I know Montgomery's got, I think, after this year, 4 more years. He signed a 5-year extension last year, but I'm sorry, even if the roster isn't good, I don't think you can have a coach that's going to get you your team in 32nd every single year. So I don't know. That's my conspiracy theory. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. I don't know. If the team continues to play the way they are, I don't see Jim Montgomery making it 5 years.
He's a great coach, but the team's got to play for their. They got to want to play for a coach. I mean,
Right.
we need a coach they want to play in front of and play for, and I don't know. But those players are also paid too. They need to play. They need to step up. Players should be held accountable too. So if a coaching change doesn't shake it up and make it start humming a little bit, then we got to consider it possibly.
Right. I mean, here's
I've
the
already
thing.
said,
Me or you?
you go ahead.
Jim Montgomery is obviously a great coach, one of the best in the NHL. He led the Boston Bruins to the greatest regular season in the history of the NHL. Okay. A year and a half later, he was fired. So if Boston can do that, no NHL coach is safe. I don't care if you are Jim Montgomery, if you're Joel Quenneville, and wherever the hell is he in Columbus? No, Anaheim. Is he in Anaheim? Wherever, I don't know. Any of these really, really good coaches, John Cooper, Maurice in Florida, when they start playing bad, they'll be gone. Like it's a how are you doing right now league, not how did you do for me a year and a half, 2 years ago.
And I've talked about this too. Like the coaching staff for the Blues has just an absolute lethal amount of talent for head coach. I mean, obviously with Steve Ott leaving, but like look at the assistant coach we have after him, Claude Julien. Like that dude has been tried and true in the NHL. Like I've always said it that if Montgomery doesn't work out, Claude Julien would be a great substitute to take over as head coach for the Blues. Do I think that happens? No. Do I see it happening very soon? Absolutely not. But hey, with the amount of like just talent when it comes to coaching, also another good reason. Why the fuck are the Blues shitting the bed with that much talent behind the bench? Like, what the hell? Sorry.
Yeah. You almost want to say that we have one of the better. I mean, I know there's better head coaches out there. Like Paul Maurice is dominating in Florida. John Cooper has been dominating in Tampa Bay. But, seeing, like you said, Jim Montgomery, Steve Ott, who every single offseason I feel like is in the running for a head coaching job somewhere. And then Claude Julien. Yeah, that guy. Claude Julien. Well, guys, I don't know if you can tell, but my drink's almost gone. So that's what's happening right now. All right. Steve, anything on the coaching or anything on that before we move ahead?
No, I mean, Monty's right when it's great. Like I'll listen to him on the radio on ESPN 101 here or whatever. And he's always got good things to say, and it's like I especially laughed at what he was saying happened with the whole goalie locker room thing with Hofer and all that. But at the same time, like I don't want to see. I like having him as our coach. I don't want to see him move, but I don't like change either. So it's one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But it needs to be on the table, and the coach needs to know that. The players also know that, and I get the impression maybe the players play a certain way because they don't like a coach sometimes, and maybe they didn't like something he was saying. But I mean, he might have changed his tune, and that's why they played those 2 games. And then last night happened. So who knows? They proved that one wrong too. So it is possibly it. Maybe and maybe not. Who knows? Maybe they just got beat by a better team last night.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was the whole reason for getting rid of Chief, is it was just like, sometimes the voice or the message, wears down and it's not as effective, and so that means it's time to move on, and that's what they decided it was with Chief, and they got rid of Chief and put Bannister in, and then Bannister just wasn't ready. Like, honestly, like you just mentioned Montgomery's interviews. Like, Montgomery's interviews when we're winning are hilarious, and when we're not winning are still
Yes.
funny, like still good.
Yes.
Bannister, dude, I could have fallen asleep to his interviews. Like,
Yes. Yes.
so,
He was one note. You could never, he had one hell of a poker face. You couldn't tell if he was pissed or happy. Like, even on the bench. Like, that's why I really enjoy Montgomery behind the bench. He's very theatrical. Like, but he also kind of harnesses us in a way of like, he's not getting like overly, out there, but like he lets the players know, like, yo, like this is a fucking NHL hockey game. Like, act like NHL players, play the right way. And that's what, last night's game kind of made me laugh a little bit, because you can see Joe Vitale and Chris Kerber. You can kind of hear when they're a little bit restless on the mic. And they'll just pan over to Montgomery, and Montgomery's fucking chewing his upper lip, and he's like pissed off. And I was like, how do you talk about that on the radio? How do you like let people know on the radio what's happening behind the bench, other than saying, well, Montgomery looks pissed off? Yeah, he probably is. I mean, his fucking team is drawn a goose egg against one of the best, top 6 forward lines in the NHL. So,
we're gonna get to the Teach Me How to Doug segment here in a second, but you talking about the radio broadcast and the tally and Kerber brought me to, how did you guys feel about the national broadcast? I think it was the Carolina game where we had TJ Oshie on, and honestly, when I hear national broadcast, it's fairly one-sided against the Blues. And it was so cool not only to just hear TJ Oshie, but just to hear a pro St. Louis Blues broadcast. So, Steve, how was watching and listening to that game?
I mean, it was really cool having TJ do the color down on the bench, between the benches or whatever, just because you could clearly tell he was just loving it. I mean, you can tell an announcer when they don't, when they're not having that great of a time, like you were saying, like Curbs and Vitale were like getting restless and stuff like that. But Oshie was just loving it, and whenever, like, I think he was just taking it in. They're like, they would have to be like, so TJ, what's going on down there? It's like, they had to ask him, like, hey, remember what you're doing? So it was really cool to have him back in the environment, just like, and I think he was just kind of taking all of it in, like, I don't know. It was really cool just to have the team on our side for once too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a Hall of Fame game too, and I think I talk about this a lot with my friends, and I'm not a realist. I'm more of a kind of like what if kind of guy. But he's going to go down in history as one of the best Blues players, one of the best, all because of when he played at the Olympics. Like, need I remind you, TJ Sochi, like that guy made people realize how fun the Olympics can be, because there's different rules and regulation as opposed to NHL to the Olympics. And, when he was drafted by the Blues and he came up as a young kid, like, he learned a lot of things from a lot of the Blues players that are on that ice and off the ice now. I mean, Steiner and Barrett Jackman being some of those guys that he learned from, and having to be the Hall of Fame game and him between the benches and getting to see those guys and kind of like talk and kind of like get to tell old stories. Like, it kind of seemed like you knew kind of where his heart was and still is. And, I wish him nothing but the best. And I'm unfortunately he had to retire the way he did, but him winning the cup in Washington was probably one of my fondest moments of him, because if he couldn't win it for St. Louis, I wanted him to still get a Stanley Cup. But, having him between the benches and kind of getting to go walk down memory lane with Jax and Steiner, I mean, you couldn't have wished for a better night. And to have a homer guy like that on the national broadcast, Hell yeah. Keep on going. Pump all the blue stories you can into a national broadcast.
I think Paul Bissonnette needs to remember that his last stretch of NHL hockey was a professional tryout with the St. Louis Blues. He needs to remember that we gave that to him at the very end. He needs to be more friendly with us. Couple things. Steve, think about this with the Olympics coming up, and it's the first Olympics since TJ Sochi. How often are we going to see that replay in the 3 weeks that we have to watch the Olympics?
I hope it's on I hope it's part of like commercial breaks. So they
right?
just see.
Every single time.
Oh man. I just remember not realizing what I had turned on when I turned that game on.
Right.
Oh man.
Another funny thing from that national broadcast is that was the Carolina game. Blues win 3-0. Joel Hofer is the first star of the game with his shutout. And I just thought it was funny. Like when it's Andy Strickland or maybe Jamie Rivers is down there, they're always sitting on the bench waiting for that first star to come out. You know, they go skate around, throw the little t-shirt or whatever out, and then they go sit on the bench. And Joel Hofer skates around, throws off his t-shirt, looks at the bench, and TJ Oshie is still in the dividers. Like, he's still over there. And Joel Hofer's like, oh, okay, I guess I got to go all the way down there to get interviewed. So that was just kind of funny. It was TJ Oshie's first time. Like, he didn't know that he needed to get out of there. He hadn't been in St. Louis since, the 2014-15 season, which is really interesting because Sam put this comment up. Who is TJ Oshie? So I went to look and I was like, she's so Steve, for your information, Sam is a diehard Springfield Thunderbirds fan. So our AHL team lives around that Springfield, Massachusetts area. And so when TJ Oshie played for the Blues, Springfield was not our minor league team. And two, TJ Oshie never even played in the minors. He went straight from college to St. Louis. So
Drafted,
he never even
played.
Yeah. I don't even think we probably would have had Peoria at that time.
Yep.
In would have been 08-09 season. So yeah, I was kind of, when she said, who is TJ Oshie? I'm like, how does she not know? And then I was like, oh, that actually makes sense as to why.
He came into St. Louis when we were going through a dark time of our franchise.
Those are the years. Those are the times.
Yeah, when we had first and second overall picks. When we took Eric Brewer instead of Jonathan Tays.
We had guys like Paul Correa. We had Steen. We had Andy McDonald.
Cool things.
Eric Brewer, Roman
yeah.
Polak. I mean, like, we had a decent amount of guys. Brad Boys was, with him during that time. Like, we had an okay team. Ryan Reeves, DJ King. Like, we had the guys that would beat the shit out of anybody, but we just didn't have that roster that could take us to the promised land. But
that 08-09, that would have been towards the end of Reed Lowe, wouldn't it have been?
Yes.
Thought he was before that. Like 07?
Right. I think he would have been pretty close.
Yeah, he used to have. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, sorry. He would have been 3-4. So a couple years after that. Yeah. Actually, 5-6, he was still with Peoria. So that, speaking of Peoria, I want to get to Teach Me How to Doug. Speaking of Peoria, did you see? So there is still a Peoria team. I don't know what league they play in. Maybe they're ECHL, but I don't think so. They must be they're not AHL. They're not ECHL. They must be some sort of off-brand professional league, almost like the Gateway Grizzlies, maybe something similar to that, where they're not associated with a MLB team, but still playing. And they had a rebrand night, and they were called the Twisters for Tony Twist. And it had like a guy on the front thing with like his hands up, and they were called the Twisters. I was like, that's actually pretty cool. I also didn't even know that Peoria still had a hockey team, so it was pretty interesting. All right. Let's get in and Teach Me How to Doug. Steve, we have a segment on here. It's called Teach Me How to Doug. It is a segment where I'm going to ask you a question related to something that Doug Armstrong might have to deal with. And you just kind of give me, if you were Doug Armstrong, what do you think you would do? Okay, so we have super cool music that I had AI create for us. So I'm going to go ahead and play the music, and we'll listen to this because it's a beat, and then we'll hear your answer.
All right, you're in the chair now. Let's see if you got what it takes to run the Blues. Teach me how to do it. Teach me how to do it. You're the GM now. Make a trade, make a plug. Cap space tight, but the roster's got a bug. So show us what you got. Teach me how to do it. Sign them, trade them, send them down to the A. Build a cup team like it's Judgment Day. You got picks, you got cash. Can you make a splash or crash? Better know your lines and match, because fans don't want to see a playoff collapse.
And I end it right there. Every time it says playoff collapse, I'm like, we're done. But it would go on. But that's just, you mentioned it earlier, and it just hurts. All right. Here's my question.
Too many of them.
Yeah, all right. Here's my question for you, Steve. Right now, speaking today, January 19th, Blues are, I don't even know what spot we're in, but we're bottom 5 in the NHL. If you were GM of the St. Louis Blues, if you were Doug Armstrong, what is your plan with this team come trade deadline time? Are you blow it up and let's go full rebuild, or you get rid of Thomas, Parayko, Buchnevich, Kyrou, get rid of these people on these long-term contracts and really, like I said, blow it up? Are you, let's just get rid of our expiring contracts and kind of play for next year? Or are you on the 2019 is a thing, post 4 Nations is a thing, this team can still do it, let's see what happens? Where are you sitting?
I'm a let's see what happens kind of guy most of the time. If I'm getting an offer that's effectively going to help me get out of one of those bad contracts, I'm going to consider it if the offer is good enough. But I like kind of a blend of those options. I'd rather wait till closer to the deadline to really make the moves that need to be made. Yeah, it's a tricky job, though. I mean, I understand why they often won't do really what we want them to do, or as much as we want them to do it. I'm not a blow it up for the sake of blowing it up guy by any means. I think they do need to keep some of their core. I'm not sure if that means that Kyrou stays or Thomas stays, because I'm not at times sold on either of those two players, but then they go and do something that I'm like, okay, maybe they can stay.
Right. Thomas scores in the shootout and wins us our first shootout of the which is kind of the thing we expect. Not Thomas, Kyrou, sorry. Yeah, it was Kyrou. That's the things he's on the team for. Like, he's on the team to score those shootout goals, or just to score breakaway goals or anything like that. So yeah, I feel you. Follow up before I let Dakota weigh in on this. Waiting and see, you always want to try to just see, get as close to the deadline so you know exactly kind of where your team is and you know what to do. But unfortunately, there's big trades happening already that are, one, taking other teams out of the market, and two, kind of resetting the price points where maybe you could have got more before. Because Rasmus Anderson from Calgary was one of the top top trade targets. He's now in Vegas. Yeah. And Vegas is probably, if you're trying to trade people, Vegas is the person you talk to first, because they're like, fuck it, we don't even like the NHL draft. We just want to we just want to trade for people. I don't know if they've had a first round pick since their first round pick in Cody Glass. I don't think they've had one. Right now, Calgary owns their 2026 first, their 2027 first, and if they win the cup this year, Calgary also owns their 2028 first. Yep. So it's like, damn, who needs first round picks? So Vegas is out. They got their guy. And then Kiefer Sherwood from, is it Vancouver? I think got traded to San Jose, and he went for 2 second-round picks and then I think a prospect of some sort. I was actually kind of surprised to see San Jose in the market. I know Celebrini is absolutely dominating, but the rest of their team really is not great. So that was kind of a surprise to see that. But you got teams that are leaving the market because they're already getting who they want. And you got teams now that, like I said, the price points are kind of resetting where
Right.
you could have set them before and now they're setting. So does that change your thoughts on waiting and seeing? Steve, sorry, that one's for you. Dakota's in a bit.
No, you're that's fine. No, I would say just like not. I would say it doesn't really change anything. I'd really, like you're saying, kind of want to see what kind of offers players are getting after the Four Nations, and then after the
Olympics.
the Olympics coming up too. I mean, I don't know how much of the deadline space there is after the Olympics or however that timeline changes.
It's probably about like 2 weeks ish.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
I bet those are going to be an exciting, busy 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I think trade deadline is, I believe, I just looked it up today, March 6th. And our first game after the Olympics is like February 26th or something around there. Right. Dakota, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I'm all for blowing it up, honestly. At this point, fuck it. What do we have to lose? I think you kind of build off of the young talent that we have, and I believe Otto Stenberg, Jimmy Snuggerud, Dalibor Dvorsky, Jake Neighbors, that's some talent you want to build on. I mean, I know we got the guys like Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas that are taking up a lot of our salary cap, but at this point, fuck it. Parayko needs to go. Fowler needs to go. I mean, pretty much our entire D-core needs to go. We got a decent amount of young defensemen waiting in the wing that, the older guys are kind of – at this point, just compare it to the Cardinals. Cardinals are doing it this year. They're like, we're just going to basically sell off everybody. They're blowing it up. What's the worst that can happen, right? You kind of utilize what you have in the farm system. Isn't that what it's there for, right? You draft these players young. You try to instill as much leadership and growth as you can until it's time for them to come up. Why not now? Right? Like, see what their ceiling is. I mean, we saw Dalibor Dvorsky play his way onto this roster. He started in the minors. Now, obviously, we all had pretty much high hopes for him to start the year. Like, fuck, we wish he would have made it to the roster instead of trying to play his way on after camp. But, and then you have a guy like Otto Stenberg. Like, Otto has definitely played his way. I mean, barring the injuries, obviously, but he's played his way on here too. So, and then you got this guy, Jonathan Bergeron. Like,
yes.
Hey, the overflow of talent on our roster is ever growing, but why not utilize the young talent while we have it, right? And Jimmy Snuggerud and Dalibor Dvorsky, I think, are key roles currently on the roster that you can definitely build a team around.
They're our next Thomas and Kyrou.
Absolutely.
Like before Thomas and Kyrou, it was Ryan O'Reilly and David Perron, and then it was Backus and TJ Oshie. Like, there's always that center and that winger. And
did we find our next Hole in Oates?
We have not had one of them since Hole in Oates. We got a lot of work to do before that.
Well, you mentioned a name earlier that I wanted to bring up. You said the word Sobotka. And then I'm thinking, oh, yeah, Sobotka and then Laterra in the same year. Those are two names right there that we would not have a cup without. Because
of
if we don't trade them for who we got for them, we don't have a cup.
Laterra for Shen and Sobotka for ROR.
ROR. We don't have a cup without those two.
Yeah. And
who else did we put into that trade with Sobotka? Who I wished we would have back.
I would
again Tage Thompson. I'm not. No. Don't give me Berglund back. Tage Thompson, a guy that we were literally salivating over in the minors, and they were like, "We want a cup now. Who's our best guy?" Tage is like, "Pick me." And so there we are. We're walking down memory lane. But
I'm glad he's doing well, though.
He is dominating. He's going to be good for USA in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Fucking Vladimir Sobotka. That guy. Little guy with gumption. Little guy
that
with
was gumption. The one
little guy with gumption.
He was our Nathan Walker. Like, he was the guy that we loved.
Like I said,
Barbashev. I mean, like a Barbashev almost. Barbashev and Sobotka are like the same person to me.
My favorite move or favorite time. Jesus, what the fuck? My favorite memory of him is when he suplexed the dude from San Jose and like stood over him like he was going to take his milk and cookies. Like it just was like, what are we doing, my guy? Like, this is the NHL. Like this isn't no back over in Russia. Like, you don't have to kill everybody. But yeah, no, I think Nathan Walker, he reminds me a lot of Vladimir Smoka, and I'm so glad that we, no matter through the years, we've always had that guy that just kind of wears the heart and soul of the St. Louis Blues on his sleeve, and for us, that's Nathan Walker right now.
I do have a Saboka signed jersey that
That's cool.
will be. It's hard for me to give it away, but will be probably a raffle item at a future Blues Fan Forum watch party as soon as we schedule one. I'm actually in the talks of potentially doing a double thing that we did. We did this a couple years ago, but with the City Refs podcast of finding a day where there's a St. Louis Blues game and a St. Louis City game, and we kind of just do a double watch party. There's actually a Saturday
last one
in April. Yeah, the Chicken and Pickle. But there's a Saturday in April where the Blues play in the afternoon and City plays at night, and so we might be looking at that. It's a ways away, I know, but we'll go big to kind of end the season. It's also the Blues played the Shithawks that night.
Ooh.
So we get to watch the Blues dominate Blackhawks and then see. I don't know what happened. We'll see if people even want to come, because by that point we're probably either post
in or
Four
out.
Nations run, like post Olympics and dominating, and we're in, or we're probably out by that point. So, so who knows? All right, Steve. Normally we kind of rock an hour. We're at an hour and 16 minutes. We've been killing it today.
Cool.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we boot, scoot, and boogie?
No, I'm good.
Hold on, I got a question for Steve.
Yeah.
Prediction before the Olympic break. Are the Blues in the playoffs, like that being that they're in a wild card spot, or if they're not, how far out are they from a wild card spot? Give me a prediction.
Well, if they keep playing the way they have this year, they're gonna not make the playoffs. If they turn it around, say after the break, then they have a chance to start picking it up. I think I try to be an optimist here. I'm going to say we at least make the wild card.
We are only 5 points out of the wild card right now,
5 points,
which is nuts. Like to talk about how we're not good, and then we're only 5 points out of. We're 5 points out of the wild card, and
we're like in the bottom 5 or something like that.
It's crazy.
It's amazing. Like we're talking about being like 2 points out of a playoff spot, and then a day later we're like last in the league. It's very the parity is insane right now. It's like ugh. So.
Well, let's see. The worst team in the East is the Rangers. They have 48 points. That's the worst team in the East. We currently have 46 points. Yeah. There are 5 teams in the West that have less points than the worst team in the East. The Canucks, the Jets, the Blackhawks, us, and the Flames all have 46 or less, and the Rangers are at 48.
Yeah.
So it's pretty nuts.
That was the last game I got to go to was the Rangers when they were in town. So
they're going to be fire selling. Panarin is probably gone. They've already come out and said that they're not going to re-sign him. And if you're not going to re-sign somebody and you're not going to make the playoffs, you got to trade him. You got to trade him for something. So, like, there's no point in keeping him on the roster. So, Panarin will be somewhere by March. We'll see. Maybe Blues will go crazy. They're like, screw it. We're not selling. We're buying. That would be nuts.
No, we are no longer tanking. No, sorry. Nope.
No. We're just always going for it, no matter how.
We don't have to lose that hard to go tanking, though.
Right. All right. Steve, thank you so much again for one, commenting, 2, coming on such short notice. Just got you signed up this morning. Thank you to everybody else who commented. Check out Scooter's Coffee. Check out Hughes Custom Design on Facebook or Instagram, or actually just Facebook, I believe. Check out Imprint Labs on Facebook or Instagram. Steve, Give me a big let's go Blues, and we'll get out of here.
Let's go Blues.
All right. See you, everybody.
Take care.